It's time for our Saluki radio preview of the Missouri S&T Miners. And for this edition of the Saluki radio preview, we extend it from the coach Rodney Watson to Valley on ESPN's Mike Trude and Saluki Hall of Famer Jamal Tatum. Let's start off, guys, with just some postmortem of the College of Charleston. Of course, the first game of the season for SIU back on Tuesday for the Field of 68 showcase, the very first game of the college basketball season. And even though it was a loss for Southern Illinois and it wasn't the result that any of the guys in that locker room wanted, it does appear that there are many positives that Coach Nagy and his staff can build upon. Jamal, from watching the game from your perspective of a player's eyes, you know how difficult those opening games can go, especially when you're on a neutral floor against a really good opponent. What did you take away just from the opening 40 minutes that we saw of Saluki basketball on Tuesday?
Well, I think, like you said, the game is on a neutral floor, right? And it's a team that you don't know much about. They don't have many stats from the previous year. A lot of new players in, don't have much to go off of, and they get out there and they play with them for pretty much the entire game. The game was a lot closer than it indicated at the end. It was a couple possession game, really, all the way to the 3 or 4 minutes left in the game, and what I saw is they did a great job getting the ball up and down the court. They pushed the ball with tempo, with pace. They shot the ball pretty well, and like I keep saying, Elijah Elliott, man, he's special, and he could be very special. He's a great scorer. He has that chip on his shoulder that I really like. I like somebody that plays with a little bit of an attitude, and he gets people involved. He does it at both ends.
Let's go ahead and look towards Missouri S&T. And this is a team that took Tulsa to overtime in their exhibition, Coach Watson. And you were able to catch up with Bill Walker, their head coach, this week, and really discussed what was an interesting game against Tulsa for the Miners.
Yeah, the interesting part when you're a Division II program, you want the opportunity to play Division I teams. One, you want to check, at least the coach does, but the players want to play against good teams. They want some film for later on and when they go play pro. So it gives them more street credit when they're trying to hook on with a pro team. They're doing stuff against Division I talent. Here's what happened in that game the other night, and I can tell you without even being there. Frankly, Tulsa's up 12 at halftime, and the game became disinterested to them. And all of a sudden now the Miners make some shots and it gets close. And I remember we played a game one time when I was in Southern Indiana. We were playing a team, and it's like, I want to win the game, but be honest with you, in the exhibition games, if you win, it takes you like 2 weeks to get your team back because they think, unfortunately, they think they're better than what they are. And so we're playing a team one time, and I told the coach, I go, now look, we've got a pretty experienced, good team. Oh no, I want to play you guys because I need it, I need this team to be good. They need to play somebody good. I go, well, then we're gonna let it rip. And so the game goes along, and I knew this happened with the Miners. So we're making shots, and with about 2 minutes to go, we're up 8. I say to my assistant, look, if they don't want to win as bad as our players do, we're just going to go ahead and beat them. And that's what can happen in those games. And pretty soon the game's going fast, and the game gets tight. And frankly, I saw how the ending went. Woo, Tulsa was very fortunate to get that thing into overtime.
What are some good things that this can be a great opportunity for Southern, even though it's a game that, yes, you should clearly win, but it's still a great opportunity to work out some things that Southern, of course, needs to work on, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, well, they've got a 6'9" center, Andrew Young, who went off for 17 and 15. So he was scoring and rebounding for them. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if it was low post or if he was hitting jump shots. I know he was 0 for 6 from 3, so he will take a 3, but he did a lot of damage anyway in the ball game. So again, they'll get a decent post player. I think Berzovich may have been the best post player in the Valley this year if he was with a Valley school. And Andrew Young, I'm impressed with. I like the fact that Cameron Stovall is a guy who played with Kennard Davis at Vashon, and he got quite a bit of playing time in the game the other night. And I know in the interview that Rodney did, the coach said that he would like Cameron to be a little bit more focused more often. But when he is when he is focused and into the ball game, he's as good as any player that they have on the team. So I think that the guards might be able to push the Salukis a little bit. I mean, they scored 70 points in overtime, but it was, they had 65 going into overtime. So it wasn't like they were walking the ball up and down the floors.
But as a player perspective, take us through of how do you make sure you're one of those guys that Coach Watson just described? I could care less who we're playing. We're going to be locked in. We're going to be ready for whatever comes on Friday.
Yeah, I think it goes back. It goes to the work that you put in. We waited all summer. We went to preseason. We lifted the weights. We did the workouts. Now this is our reward. We get to play a basketball game. It doesn't matter who it's against. It doesn't matter if it's against Duke, or it doesn't matter if it's a D3 school. This is your reward for putting in the work, for lifting the weights, for getting up early in the morning and getting your runs in, for the extra work that you put in outside of the team. This is the fun part. Like, you get out there and you compete, and that's what it's about. It's the winning and the losing, whatever. I'm getting out there to compete. I like basketball. I enjoy it, man. Like, why would I not be ready? If you're not ready, you're not a competitor. Go sit down. Go, like, for real. You gotta go. Like, Luke, come on. I mean, I enjoy this. This is like, if you're not ready and prepared to do it, then why are we doing it? I'm hyped up. I feel like I'm about to go play right now. Golly, man. It's just the reward for doing all that. I mean, look, you do all this stuff. You spend all these hours doing all this stuff, all the practices, the weights, and you get 40 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what you get. You got to give it everything, and you're not going to play the whole 40 minutes.
That does it for our Saluki Radio preview. We want to remind you our coverage on the Saluki Radio Network begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and it will be tipping off at 7 for the TV coverage for Dominic Osher, Mike Trude, and Jamal Tatum on the TV call. That will begin on the Watch ESPN app and wherever you can get the Valley on ESPN at 7 o'clock. For the coach, Rodney Watson, for Mike Trude, and the Hall of Famer, Jamal Tatum, I am Luke Martin. We will talk to you